This is going to go through the pumping the leg, progressively moving into hip extension. I just want to really emphasize that this is a very basic maneuver, and really your goal is to isolate just the leg moving and not the rest of your body. So if you think about it, if I have my feet just side by side, first thing you look at is, can you very lightly kind of press your hands into the counter? And what that does is that stabilizes your upper body, so your upper body's not going to be moving at all. By pressing down, I also think about kind of pulling my butt underneath me. All right? So if you watch my lower back, you can kind of see that I try and flatten my lower back. I don't do that by rounding my shoulders, right? So I see if I can just very lightly tuck my hips under me. If this is really difficult to do, I'll have someone lean forward, and then it makes it typically a little easier to get that little tuck of the hip. Now, whether you're standing or whether you go to that position on your elbows, first you want to see, can you keep this? And just very lightly bend your knee. So it's just a very light motion in the knee. You want to see, can you isolate just that leg motion without anything else moving? So I'm not rocking my hips, right? There's no movement through my shoulders. It's just upper body is very stationary, and I'm just pumping my leg. It's very loose, very gentle. I have pretty much all my weight on my opposite leg, right? Now, if you could do that, your goal is to see, well, can you take this leg gradually further behind you? So if this is okay, and you might want to have someone watch you or have a mirror, can you take the foot back, maybe toe right around the heel of the other foot, and can you keep this stomach tension and do the same thing, right? Now right now I'm just very lightly trying to move my knee. Same thing, I don't want any of this rocking of my pelvis with it. I really want to keep this still, okay? Now if that's okay, I want to see if I can even, when I straighten that leg, I'm going to squeeze my butt a little bit. So that when I get to the end of that motion, I want to see if I can lightly tense. And I should be able to feel, like if I take my fingertips here, I should feel this is soft. And when I straighten my leg, I feel a muscle contraction. I just got to watch that as I start to squeeze, I don't want this to happen, right? So once again, if this is a problem, you may want to come down. And same thing, kind of set yourself up for that stomach tension. It may be a little easier to fight against your back tensing. So obviously, the further my leg is in front of me, the easier this is. The more it goes behind me, the more of a challenge, and the more likely my back is going to want to start to drop. So I really want to try and use my hands to press down and pull my pelvis under me. So as that leg moves, it's the only thing that's moving, and my lower back is staying very stable. Now if you get to here and you're doing pretty well, the higher this foot comes into the air, once again, the more stretch on the front of my hip. So I may grab, a couple books. So this obviously isn't a book, but it's about the height of a bigger textbook book. So I would set it up so I'm in that same position, all right? And now it's gonna be the same thing here, but now with my foot up off the ground a little bit, it's taking me into a little bit more hip extension. And I could be on my forearms or once again up on my hands. If that goes well, I could go higher. I could get more books. Or I can get a fancy little box here, or a little step stool. Works pretty well. Okay, same thing, stomach first. Once again, if I squeeze and I feel like when I squeeze I can't keep my back, maybe I'll just start off pumping here. But the higher this thing becomes, if I go to a chair or if I really stack this up, the more I should start to feel, if anything, a pull here, right? A pull here or muscle tensing here is a good thing. Anything that feels like it's coming up into my lower back is not really what I'm looking for. So if you could feel like you're at least flexing your butt, or you can feel a little tension in the front of your hip, you've done it, you've accomplished what you're supposed to. But if you feel something else, you may not be doing that quite right, or you need to back off on the position.